Fill up your coffee cup, have a seat. It is time for Legal Grounds. Glad to have you with us this morning. When you get into an accident, it's always good to talk to an attorney about your next move. Today, you do not have to wait for an attorney. McCormick Law Firm owner Cagney McCormick is in the studio with us and answers to your personal injury and accident questions. Good morning, Cagney. It's so good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Talk a little bit about today's topic, if you would.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk a little bit about pain and suffering. That's one of the number one calls we get is, what is pain and suffering?
Okay, and again, if you have a question relating to pain and suffering, text us now. The number to text is 214-977-6028. Okay, I've got a question to begin with. What is pain and suffering settlement in Texas?
So after an auto accident, the insurance company or anybody owes you for your injuries and pain and suffering. There is no formula in Texas for pain and suffering, so you have to actually prove that through medical records. Without medical records, you have no pain and suffering. So it's really important to go get medical treatment as quickly as possible to prove your suffering.
So you talked a little bit about it there. How is it calculated then?
There's just no formula. It's just an insurance adjuster or 12 jury members who read your medical records and come up with that number. It's not black and white. It'd make my job a lot easier if it was, but you have to have medical records to show your injuries.
Okay, it makes your job extra important though, because it's not black and white. So how does a claimant get paid for future pain and suffering? Because that's one of the things we hear a lot about. And again, a reminder, if you have a question about this, please text us your questions.
Well, you'll have to go to see a doctor who then will treat you, go through all the process that modern medicine requires, and then that doctor make a estimate of what you need for future medical treatment, and then that's what's provided either to an insurance company or jury or an attorney at a mediation, and that's how they calculate the future pain and suffering settlement.
Okay, so if you're in the middle of something like this right now, someone may be wondering, how long do I have to wait to get paid after that settlement finally gets finalized? I mean, legal things can take a while.
Absolutely. That might be the hardest part of this job
Right.
for any injury attorney, is getting the money into the door for the client. Generally, it should take between 2 to 4 weeks. If it's taking longer than that, there's absolutely something wrong. If you have an attorney, you should call that attorney. If you don't have an attorney, maybe you should consult with an attorney and send them the paperwork that you've signed.
But I was going to say that's where you go to work.
Absolutely.
If it's taking longer than that.
Absolutely. We don't allow it to take usually more than 3 weeks unless there's some outstanding lien on a case.
Okay, well, so my question is, what kind of recourse does a claimant have if you win a pain and suffering case, but you don't receive the money? What happens?
So if you win a case for bodily injury or pain and suffering and there's an insurance company, they're required to pay you their insurance policy. That should happen in 2 to 3 week period, at 4 weeks at the very most. But if you've sued somebody in small claims court who doesn't have insurance, sometimes there's no way to collect on that policy because they don't have an insurance policy. That's when you really need to consult with an attorney and find out what kind of garnishments opportunities you have.
Okay, so we've been talking about pain and suffering this morning. Explain to us, if we have viewers out there, you know, there are a lot of things you're wondering, is this something I can take to an attorney? Is this not something that is appropriate for an attorney? What are some of the most common types of cases that people come to you with that you can really help them with?
If you've been injured by somebody else, then an auto accident, a slip and fall, or construction accident, even a work injury, you need to consult with an attorney. That is what we do on a daily basis, all over DFW, all over the state. But auto accidents, the most common for most attorneys in this area.
Okay, and we have a question from a viewer right now. If you're not feeling immediate pain after a car accident, do I still need to go get a medical evaluation? If so, how soon do I get that evaluation? That's a great question.
Absolutely, and actually the most common time period people call us is when 3 or 4 weeks after an accident, because they don't always feel immediate pain, kind of creeps up on them, doesn't go away, kind of persistent low levels of pain.
Right.
So absolutely, if you're not in pain, no need to see a doctor. But I wouldn't recommend going and settling quickly after an accident saying I have no injuries, because you should give yourself 30 to 60 days.
Great point. Okay, and we have one more viewer question that we want to take right now. If I am in an accident, should I not engage the other person directly? That's another great question.
There's a lot of emotions and chaos after an accident, so it's probably not the best idea. If you have their insurance information and you have somebody to speak to on that side, you want to go through that side because they're the ones that are going to fix your car, put you into a rental car, or hire an attorney to do that for you. If you don't have insurance and you are trying to reach out to that person, you should probably hire an attorney to go speak to that person instead of yourself.
Okay, well, we know there's a huge amount of interest in this, and that's why we've started doing this segment. It's relatively new. Viewers are getting used to it right now. So if someone's watching and they didn't get to their phone right now to text us, where could they submit a question to you?
Directly to my email at cmccormick@theinjuryattorney.law. Within 24 hours, I will reply to every one of them.
That's great. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate your
Thank you
time
very
this morning.
much.
Thanks for coming in. McCormick Law Firm offers new clients a free consultation. Call 972-972-4444 or go to notatfault.law for more information. You can also email your questions to C. McCormick, it's right there, at theinjuryattorney.law.